Welcome back, everybody. Today, I'll show you my latest portfolio buys and sells, and afterwards, I want to explain why I think Amazon has the most underrated AI companies on the market today. Since this isn't a financial advice, I simply documenting my investing journey and sharing my own research. So let's get started here. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the the side and we're going to go take a look at what we have. So again, for the month of June, there's a lot of movement, a lot of changes that I did. So what I bought, and technically what I sold is that there was a big sell on, where was it at? The beginning of the month. So what I did was I sold Copart and PayPal. And then I broke that up and buy six different types of companies. I got the BN, the Brookfield, obviously, big fan of that. Nvidia, which is my big buy for June, and then we've got CCC, which I bought a lot more of. This is below $5. Amazon, which we'll talk about today, and then also Netflix, which is a huge sell-off right now for them. And I believe I needed to put more emphasis on the current shares that I have, so I wanted to buy more. And then the rest of it is through Duolingo. Now, for these reasons and all the simple things, I will go through and focus on my portfolio on a later video, but this one here is specifically talking about Amazon. So why I think Amazon is still a pretty underrated company is because, I think of this company for the longest time. I mean, obviously for just for this year, it's been an up and down year. But my first point of this is that everybody thinks Amazon is just a shopping, um, um, it's just a shopping website, right? So when we say like, hey, I bought this X, Y, and Z, most of the time that was shipped through Amazon. It isn't just for shopping, actually. It is bigger than that. The moat of Amazon has expanded across multiple layers, specifically from a cloud computing perspective, which again, this is my second point for this video, is that AWS. AWS has been a major, 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 major cloud provider for the very long, for the longest time. When we look into Amazon's, you know, uh, criteria of what makes Amazon it is today, is because of its cloud providing mechanism. So I would say, the majority of AI companies have their very own computing power. In that case, from an Amazon perspective, you're looking into AI models, running enterprise applications, and AWS benefits from that demand. So that's always been kind of like the growth metric for Amazon, is how big and how competitive are they when it comes to Azure, when it comes to Google Cloud. I know how competitive are they. I think these are probably one or two of the best cloud provider out there today. And the second, or let's say the third point, is AI chips. So when we're looking down into the AI market, most of the time you're looking into NVIDIA, right? This is the NVIDIA of the world. We need to buy more GPUs and stuff like that. And what surprises me is that Amazon isn't sitting back and watching NVIDIA dominate this market. They actually built their very own AI accelerators, and which is called Trainium. I believe I said that right. And it has been a major, major hit. You will not be able to see the direct um, outcome of that, but it has been a huge demand. And again, I'll put some stuff in the links on the or on this side here. But the goal isn't to beat NVIDIA for raw performance, but it's to lower the cost of Amazon customers, keeping their infrastructure within Amazon ecosystem. Now, again, there is going to be this competitiveness between these companies, and I believe Amazon sits at the middle of that push and pull. Now, the fourth point that I have is it is basically the revenue engine that um, most of companies today like Amazon, Microsoft, um, you name it. Amazon has multiple revenue engine. So in a company setting, the most, I would say, the most attractive company to invest in is the ones that actually make money, right? So AWS is one of them, Amazon Marketplace, advertisements, Prime, logistics, all of those kind of combines this aura of Amazon. And when we really break it down, they're relying on multiple businesses: the retail business, the cloud, the advertising, subscription for Prime, obviously, the logistics on shipping those in a really fast pace, obviously. And then again, these segments are growing independently, right? They're independent when it comes to each of their own revenue shares. Now, my fifth point is technically going to be specifically around the SpaceX IPO. The reason why they're so dominant and there's this big um, trend into to this IPO is the amount of you know the first time movers, right? The first time movers actually is the one that takes a lot of the shares. Well, in Amazon's case, there is this second leg, right? There's a second leg to this. Now, we don't want to put our eggs in a basket, right? Entirely, but in this case here, this is really taking shots of SpaceX because Project Coupler, I think they might have renamed this multiple times now. It is to take aim at the satellite business. So when that becomes, uh, you know, profitable, which it will be in the next couple of years or so, it will be successful. I mean, I'm not saying that in the most like, oh my gosh, it's going to work. It is going to be successful because you can clearly see that when it comes to SpaceX and their Starlink business. It creates a long-term revenue. And again, integrating that with AWS just makes it better, makes it so much better. So again, it won't happen over time, obviously, but I'm investing this within 5 to 10 years or even 20 years, again, depending on the market that I want to stick in. But for now, again, this is a big, huge, huge, huge accomplishment. Now, again, you might see like, hey, Amazon's rocket blew up or something like that, which again, it did happen, but there's no satellites on that. It was for testing. So again, there's still this secondary hope that again they can make this real, and I would be the first one to try it. So again, huge, huge, huge fan of that. So please, 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 Amazon, keep this going. Don't give up on it because again, it is a major, major, major leap, and again, it's going to be a long-term revenue moving forward. Now, my sixth is technically my thesis, right? So from a market point of view, yes, Amazon is an e-commerce business or e-commerce company, but I see something different, right? I see that there's a cloud infrastructure, there's an AI hardware, advertising, which I didn't really say this enough, AI hardware that is actually on demand. Like like they're asking for more, like customers are wanting more, because again, it is so much powerful, in in what they can do. And then logistics, obviously, I mean, it's unbeatable. And of course, the satellite business, which will be something that I'm really, really hoping for. Now, again, these are just my thoughts. I would love to know what everybody else's thinks about that. Is Amazon underrated? I, I think so. Or is it just another AI company with with a lot of upsides in the future? Who knows? Again, I will continue to document every buys and every sells, towards financial freedom. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, all of the description is at the bottom. All of the articles that I'm going to be putting in there. Please do not hesitate to ask me anything in the bottom section. Like and comment and subscribe. Thank you so much.